In response to the unprecedented closure of the world's schools, we have reached out to remarkable educational leaders for their insights and examples. On April 22nd, 2020, 6 weeks after the North Broward Preparatory School in South Florida closed its campus, we asked Fawcett and Genevieve Hoppe to share how their large, private school was addressing the unique challenges of remote home learning. We know many schools have struggled to keep abreast of student, teacher, and parent voice over the many months of emergency home learning. So, we are extremely grateful to the North Broward School leadership for sharing how weekly surveys and reflective data are helping to keep the greater community better connected while campus remains closed.
One of the core tenets of the school is that we want to serve the people that are here, the community itself. And so we've really looked for ways to make sure that what we're doing is meeting the needs of kind of the students, the teachers, and the parents.
Schools and universities across Florida are boosting their online learning tools, ready to transition students from classrooms to computers if necessary.
You know, when we started, we came out with an idea. Genevieve and team did a really good job kind of doing some preliminary research in the lead up to the transition, which positioned us really well. And we came out with what we thought were really good schedules, really good kind of guidance about what teachers should be thinking about, guidance for parents. And I think we came out really strong. And then through this kind of process of continual feedback, which we're getting both through kind of ongoing surveys as well as anecdotal feedback from kind of ad hoc conversations with all of the constituencies, we've been getting really good actionable feedback about how we can change and make sure that we're actually addressing the needs of students or the needs of teachers or the needs of parents. And those are not always all completely aligned. And so I think we've done a really good job of kind of triangulating those data points and making sure that the decisions that we're making as a school really are in the best interest of not only the moment, but the long-range vision of the school.
Yeah, thank you for that, Bruce. I was wondering, could you talk just a little bit about the specific details of how you're capturing? You mentioned interviews and focus groups, but like specifically, what should a head of school, what's like the mechanism for doing that? Like, what's the practical, how do you start to get student and teacher and parent voice, and how have you done that? And what are you doing with the data then?
We think it's really valuable. So we've come out of the gate with a series of targeted surveys that are happening on a weekly basis. At the end of week one, we gave it the first time, and then each of the 5 weeks that we've been in virtual learning since, we've given it. We have a separate survey for students, for teachers, and for parents, and we're looking at each of those individually as threads of thought for that particular group. And then we're looking at it collectively to kind of see what the patterns are developing. Alex Pajaski, who is our Director of Informational Technology, Instructional Technology, he has done a really good job of taking that data and analyzing it and then creating a presentation for the leadership team each week on what the trends are. Also, he has created a presentation that he shares with the teachers on what those trends are so that they have a glimpse at that. And then we have been communicating kind of that data to students and parents in just kind of ongoing communication that happens on a regular basis. So that's the primary way that we're getting, I think, really quantitative data. But we're also, we're, as we always are, really involved in kind of ongoing conversations with, again, students, parents, and teachers, and we're paying attention to those, listening for threads, you know, paying attention when those threads emerge, looking at how they align or misalign, or aligned or misaligned with the formal means of kind of surveying, and then kind of taking action there. That's really central to the kind of the school itself. We're really about getting better every day. So that's just an extension of what we normally do.
Yeah, and then on top of that, Bruce, I think it was also cool whenever we looked every week at the analytics from the technology tools themselves. So you kind of have the survey that Bruce mentioned with all of the feedback from our community, but then we can also look at things on Zoom, SeeSaw, SibMe, which is our walkthrough format, and Canvas, our learning management system. And we can also start to see, okay, how often are students engaging with this material, in what ways. We can check attendance, we can check the kind of use versus engagement, and things like that. So you can also use the data in the technology tools that you're using in the virtual experience.
I appreciate, Genevieve and Bruce, both your time today and sharing that example of how you can, identify what matters in your community and start to build that voice in new ways for these new times and new paradigms. And it seems like you figured out not only a mechanism for collecting that internally, but for being able to share and use that information in your day-to-day plotting your next course and staying on mission. So continue the good work, and maybe we can check in another time in the future.
Look forward to it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.